Okay, in this video, we're going to talk about how you can add your contacts that are coming through a funnel, or even if it's contacts that you've added through a list that you've imported from a previous system. We're going to talk about how you can add them to a list inside of CF 2.0. So there's a couple different things that you can do. So CF 2.0 is really into list segmentation. So whenever somebody opts in, they kind of go into this big big list in the sky, right? So that would be your contacts database. So I'm going to show you where that's at. That's over here in the contacts database. If you watched the previous video, you know how that works. Your contacts will show up here. You can import folks. They'll show up here. Now, the best way that you can add them to a list is to come over here to segments, okay? So you can create and filter a list of segments right here. So you've got your list of imports. Set this. You can create another segment. This one happens to be contact tags is equal to the list or the tags that we created. Now this list, let's go backwards here, will consist of just your 3 folks that have that tag, right? So that's one way to create a list. Let's add let's go back into that segments list and look at another way that you can create a list, okay? So maybe we want a list of everybody that is opting in, okay? So we're going to add a new segment. And we're going to say name, let's see, list of opt-ins from my new funnel. Okay, so you're going to give it a name so you know where they came from, and you're going to create a filter. Okay, that filter is going to be opted in on funnel right here. And then you're going to say is, being which funnel is it? is my new test funnel, because we only have one funnel. If you want to filter further down, you can continue going through this. Maybe they opted in and their contact tags are such and such, and they're this or something. And if you don't like what you came up with, you can always click the X. This really gives you a very dynamic way of building lists that are very dynamic and always being built and created and added to, and it's always being updated, which is the best way to describe this segmentation list. Okay, so once you've done that, you would just say create list segment, and then it creates. And now you can go in and look at it and go, okay, cool. What does that list look like? Okay, it come in here. Apparently there are no opt-ins on that particular funnel at this time because I haven't been through it. Now let's look at another way to do this is to add a list where you can create a list on a third-party system such as ActiveCampaign or Aweber or MailChimp. So before you go into your funnel and start creating workflows, make sure that you've set up your integration with your third-party email service provider. So maybe it's ActiveCampaign. I'm about to show you how to do it real quick with ActiveCampaign and a real simple workflow that you can set up yourself. Okay, so anybody that has ClickFunnels 2.0 set up will have access to everything that I'm talking about here. So what you're going to do, if you haven't watched the integrations video, make sure to go back and watch that video and then come back here. But you're going to go into your funnel. So you will see here in the workflow diagram that there is a tab on the right side of the funnel steps. This is an opt-in page, but it could be an order page. So you might have a workflow for the opt-in page, and then you might have another workflow for an order page, which would come up next. So what you're going to do to create a new workflow where you create a trigger and an action is you click on this little lightning bolt over here and you create a new, or you activate an existing. You could actually set it up with an existing workflow. We don't have any. So what we're going to do is click new workflow, and we're going to say add contacts to ActiveCampaign. But what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and say the event type is going to be on an opt-in. You could set it up with a page view. You can applied tag. So the trigger could be an applied tag. Maybe a tag was removed. This would be a great way to set up a like an abandoned cart sequence potentially. We're just going to keep this one simple and say they opted in. Let's create that workflow. That will be our trigger, okay? So once you go in and create that trigger, you can go in and further edit that or add additional triggers if you want to, just by clicking on it and clicking add a trigger. We're not going to do that, but if you want this to be active, you will make sure that this tab is on, okay? From there, we're going to click on the plus button. What we want to do is take you down here to the bottom and set up third-party integration, okay? This is how you're going to add people to a pre-existing integration such as ActiveCampaign. There are other places that you can integrate to, but for this, we are going to integrate with ActiveCampaign. So I'm going to click on that, connect to my previously connected account, it will connect. I would be careful about clicking on this trash can over here. But once you have this set up, you can click next, or you can add a different ActiveCampaign account. It will now connect via the API, and it will look and see what lists you have or what actions are available. So we have add to list, add to or remove from list, or remove tag, or add tag. Okay, so we're going to add list, and then we're going to select a list. I'm going to say all CF peeps right here, and then we're going to come down here and map each one of the contact points that were in CF 2.0, which can be basically transferred over to the contact database inside of ActiveCampaign. So over there, you're probably going to do email, which is going to be the one requirement. First name, you don't have to do these other ones, but if you have the information, I say send it. So first name, last name, last name, and then the phone number. There it is. So once you have all this information mapped, you can click next, confirm, and activate. Once you are like, yep, that's what I wanted to do, just hit the save button just like that. And you now have a workflow with an integration set up to add all of your opt-ins to that list over in ActiveCampaign. So alternatively, you can just send out a bunch of emails right there in your workflow. But these are the different ways that you're going to set up lists and kind of interact and work with those lists within CF 2.0. Okay. Don't forget to turn on your active contacts list up here. So just click that. It'll say enable workflow. Click enable. Now you have a fully functional workflow, which will activate whenever somebody goes through this trigger, which is to opt in to that particular page. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out or reach out to ClickFunnels support. We'll be here to assist. Okay, take care. Have a good one.